We have two lawyers with us here, Advocate Kale and Advocate Mahesh Wanegaokar. Revati is actually also a DLRC parent. Her son completed his grade 12 from DLRC in 2022. And Revati and Mahesh are batchmates. They started their journey together from M.P.Law College, Aurangabad. And today I also came to know that they fought their first case also together, which is very interesting, just out of college. But their paths since then have been very, very different, though they have practiced in different courts. But Revati has gone more into consulting for individual clients, whereas Mahesh has taken competitive exams and moved as a legal advisor for first Bank of Maharashtra, then State Bank of India. He's currently AGM Law with State Bank of India, and Revati is practicing civil law, revenue, family, and property. Is that okay, Revati? Is that correct? Yeah. And her focus always is on making sure that her clients are aware of the legal rights, so that they can find a win-win situation in all cases. One interesting thing about Mahesh is that he has been part of teams which have managed some of the biggest financial cases in the last 2 decades. And if he would like to share that sometime during this conversation, we would be really, really happy about that. But I'll leave it at that now. And Revati has done a crash course in meditation. Is that right, Revati?
Mediation.
What is that?
It is a mediation. It is alternative dispute resolution.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a mediation.
So why don't we start with you, Revati, and if you can share more about what are you currently doing and how this kind of tie in with that.
Yeah, sure. Actually, I have started with consultancy at the beginning of my career after a break of almost 6 years after passing out. And then I started with consultancy, and eventually I started practicing into now individual practice and dealing individual clients in property law, family law, cooperative law, consumer, district forums at all levels actually. So this is individual practice, including the services are given to companies, corporate firms, to all kind of clients who are into litigation and consultation as well. So mediation, what I told you, mediation is an alternative dispute resolution technique. Nowadays, we always talk about huge burden on judiciary and litigation and system not moving so fast and so. So this movement of alternative dispute resolution has started in West far earlier, actually 10, 20 years, and it is almost settled mediation practices. Because it is very difficult for them even to pay for lawyers. The cost of litigation and justice and everything is high there. So that is why mediation has settled there. And certain aspects like marriage, they are in the sphere of churches. They consider it as a religious structure. So that is why churches also do mediation for property, family, and divorce matters. So I took formal training of mediation there. And I worked with them as co-mediator for a couple of their cases because they see region-wise cases. So client should be comfortable. I understand problem because if the client is from my region, I understand his background, cultural background, financial background, etc. So I helped that in that sense. So the Asian clients who are citizens may be there, but they are probably belong to Asia and other countries. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so you have that means under this you have done work in US also before you came back to India. Okay.
Yes.
So how is the space different there? Compared to how your time here has been now that you have gone back into practice.
Actually, it's a lot of difference. We were when I went to US and when I studied law and started practicing, it was very much a formal structure. We have too much formal, but there, because of corporate things and all, the culture is not remained that formal. And the culture has become different there. Even the judges, I was surprised and shocked to see during a court session, a lawyer stands up and calls, "Hey, John, you have not called my name." So I was like, oh, this can be the way to address the judge. So it is very, very different. Though you call it like this, but there is no less than a respect or something. It was always there, but it was definitely a different. Financially, to look at the profession, the way they practice, there was a much of a difference. But mediation related me more because of my maybe nature, area of interest into human relationships and all. So it attracted me always more. So in India, we don't have much of that, at least in Pune. It is growing definitely, but it has grown into metropolitan cities. It has grown a good thing. In Mumbai, where corporate things are there, mediation is increasing. Now, court has made compulsory mediation to company filing the suits and family matters. But for family matters, moreover, it is taken as formality to be completed, and many people are doing seriously even out of court for mediation. But that awareness has to grow more and more. That's a very interesting field.
Okay, so any decision that is reached through mediation is a lawfully accepted decision, or how does it work?
In India, it is not like that. In USA, it is like that. If court gives some order under mediation, it is considered as a law. If the church has given that order under the cases which are under the jurisdiction of considered to be under the jurisdiction of church. But in India, it is not like that. You have to file the cases. If you file the case and then mediation report, mediators submit their report to the court, and then it turns to be a judgment. It is like that in India. But pre-litigation mediations, they're not called as order or something. It's a contract between the parties, a settlement contract.
Okay. So somebody wanting to become a mediator here will have to first be a proper lawyer, because they will have to understand that finally how does it,
Mediation
get
is one of the topic
come
nowadays in syllabus, and there are different syllabus from private universities, I believe. And outside India, definitely it is a pretty mature field now.
Yeah, Revati, we couldn't hear the last part of your.
I was saying you have to be lawyer here, definitely. And mediation is one of the topic which you study in your formal law school law degree while taking a law degree. But after that, in outside India also, it's a very mature field. So there are specific courses, diplomas and everything in mediation. Yes.
Okay. I'll now come to Mahesh. So, I was just sharing with you that most of our kids, whenever they hear lawyer, they think of suits, but your area is something which was even new for me, that as a legal advisor in a bank. So how did, what is your current role? What all does it entail? It'll be really good to know that, Mahesh.
Yeah, basically, when we talk about lawyer, we see them fighting in the court. But before the matter reaches to the court, there is a lot of legwork to be done. Rather, in a big organizations, you need to have policies. You need to have documentations in place. So, you have a big role over there, right from HR policies to your customer service policies to your financing documentation, financing policies. All their law is an important part. And in these kind of organization like bank, for anything to roll out, the clearance from law department is important, because any implications that may land them into a big, huge financial loss and litigation cost. So whatever the new scheme is run through a bank, or any policy is devised in the bank, that has to run through a law department. So my role in bank is looking after the policies related to various departments such as HR, then finance, related to finance, new products that are coming in, then new documents that are being drafted, and then comes the part of recovery and litigation as well.
Okay.
That is how we in a law department function.
Okay. So which parts of these are you handling? Like, is it more towards creation of the, the pre part, or the litigation part? Where exactly, or does your role cover almost everything that you talked about right now?
See, as of now, the where I am posted,
Hmm.
there I am into more corporate financing,
Okay.
where I am supposed to look after the documentation for the big finance, like for Reliance, Adani's,
Okay.
and say Tata's, and
Hmm.
whatever the big companies around above 1,000 crores when we lend. They
Hmm.
also, that organizations also, they have their own in-house legal team who
Hmm.
negotiate with us with the clauses for the
Hmm.
document which we interchange. So
Hmm.
they have their own reservations, that then they have their own compliances to be done. They are listed companies. They need to follow their own guidelines. They need to be compliant about various regulations related to SEBI. Uh, there are multiple places where we need to interact when
Hmm.
finance to a big organizations are being done. So as of now, presently, I'm in that branch where we lend big finances, the huge finances.
Okay. And what was your journey to this? Like, right from MP Law College to AGM Law at SBI, what has the journey been like? How did you reach where you are today?
It's a long journey. When we started, like me and Revati, when we started, I started my practice immediately when I completed my law.
Huh.
And of course, Revati was trying that time for competitive exams. But I started my practice and went out civil practice, criminal everywhere.
Hmm.
For 4.5 years, almost, I have practiced in all courts before Aurangabad bench of Bombay High Court, and
Hmm.
then various revenue courts, civil matters everywhere. But then one fine day, there was an advertisement for recruitment of Bank of Maharashtra, and
Hmm.
somehow somebody pointed out. I appeared over there. Though I was not very keen on joining the service, so
Hmm.
somehow, because I cleared those exams and got selected, so I thought, okay, let me just try go over there, and I'll come back. That was my
Hmm.
initial this thing, that
Okay.
probably I may not settle in a a job kind of thing. But
Huh.
once I went over there and I saw the organized structure
Huh.
through which these people function, that
Hmm.
attracted me.
Okay.
It's not a crude kind of thing that I'm supposed to do. A client is
Uh-huh.
coming and thinking whether he will pay me, he will not pay me, my putting my fees. That is not
Huh.
required.
Huh.
I can enrich my experience. I can learn so many things in an
Hmm.
organized manner,
Hmm.
because those organizations had their own law department which was quite organized, and
Hmm.
then interacting through various people, through various advocates practicing who are at the height of their practice. During my practice in Bank of Maharashtra, first posted in Thane, then got transferred to Pune, where they had a head office. Yet another exam, State Bank of India. It's a bigger bank, bigger organization, so more opportunities.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
that attracted me. So I joined State Bank of India. State Bank of India, I was posted in Mumbai, where I was looking after the
Hmm.
retail part of the bank, like
Okay.
the problems or the issues related to the branches
Okay.
scattered all over Maharashtra.
Hmm.
Now, to relate, the people who can relate to it, like people who have an account and
Hmm.
there is some fraud in that account, they
Hmm.
report it. है ना?
Hmm.
So, how to handle that? That can be one of the area. Then there can be an account holder who is deceased, but his legal
Hmm.
heirs needs to have that amount getting transferred to him. Then there can be cases where we have lended the money, but they are not
Hmm.
paying it back. Then there can be a litigation related to recovery.
Hmm.
Then there can be cases which are related to HR related issues, like
Hmm.
people getting recruited, but the recruitment there is some flaw because it's in public recruitment. Or
Hmm.
after recruitment, there can be some issues which misbehavior of the by the employee to the customer,
Hmm.
or there can be some departmental inquiries to the employees of the bank. So many varied kind of things which were there when I was posted in Mumbai, Maharashtra circle I was looking after it. So thereafter, then I got promoted. I was posted in Gujarat. So that this is another fascinating thing. When you are in Maharashtra, you are thinking about people in Maharashtra, their local problems. When we move out of the state, we come to know there are different various issues which are different in different states. The local laws in that states are little different. So we come to know about that. We interact. Then I had an opportunity to meet people who are practicing in High Court of Gujarat, judges in High Court of Gujarat. So that widened my exposure to legal issues. Thereafter, I was posted to the corporate center of State Bank of India, which takes care of all pan-India branches and our foreign offices as well. So that was another. There are more of a policy issues while some product is being rolled out by a bank. What could be an issues related to it? That I had an experience to deal with. And some big cases like cases of Dr. Malya Kingfisher case, I was able to handle that. Then financial frauds cases like Harshit case, that is still going on. People may not be aware. They must have just watched that series on the
Scam,
but I was fortunate enough to handle it before the High Court and Supreme Court. Still, it is going on. We have recovered huge amount from that fraud also. This is how now I'm posted in this corporate account group, where I'm looking after the documentations and negotiations with so many things with this corporate.
Wow, that's really interesting. So all different banks have their different competitive exams. Is that so, or is there a central exam for banks? How is it like?
No, different banks have their own different exams. Like State Bank of India is a huge bank. They have their own exams. While some smaller banks may have exams through IBPS, that is a body which takes care of the recruitment for smaller banks. So they may have their own exams also. But I will not restrict it, because people want to understand how this recruitment takes place. We should not restrict it only to the banks. Rather, this kind of employment is available in all sorts of organizations. Even in foreign ministry, there are law officers. So law is a subject which is required in every kind of organization. Government organization, even in state ministry, there are law officers. There is a law ministry over there. Legislations has to be passed. So law people, that has to run through law people. It cannot be enacted unless the law people look into it. So there are a number of opportunities available in the field of law as far as this service is concerned. We should not think only one who has done a law will go and practice.
So in government, usually either central government or state government, is the path through the UPSC and all, or is there a different path for a lawyer to get into a government legal section?
See, through UPSC also they do recruit. Once they are recruited, they are posted into the law department. But otherwise, also they do recruit it from the open recruitment. Like they do have on deputation people from judiciary, from banking, and from almost every section. They do call on deputation over there for a certain period. So that can also be looked into. Rather, in organizations like SEBI, they do recruit it through open market also. RBI, they do recruit it. So all government organizations, central government, state government also recruited through Public Service Commission also.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Mahesh. Revati, you had a very different journey from Mahesh. So if you can just share more about that and your reasons for having that different kind of a journey.
As I told you, I was very much inclined to go into public services. So going to public services was a different motive altogether. And law always I have looked as an additional thing. Having a knowledge of law in public service can really make difference. when you actually work there in policy making or something. So my mindset remained the same, even though I didn't enter into public service, but the motivation for public service was constantly there. So this litigation thing and the client-lawyer relationship and everything, I could not settle there in a normal sense, you can say. So I was very much attracted to alternative dispute resolution techniques. So mediation is one of them. So eventually I used to go all the time, what is the root cause of the dispute altogether, whether it be a corporate or individual, because law is such a profession where you deal with highest complexities of human relationships in many aspects. So that is the part which has attracted me, and being an art student, humanitarian background. So I was always looking my profession from that style and manner. So I continued to do so. After coming from US, I wanted to do mediation uh, as a major here during my practice. Because mediation was not much of the only corporate who can afford to wait and all that. They were into it, and they also used to go to Mumbai to, because there are some mediation houses where people used to go and get the mediation. But they're that aware actually about how can they save their money by not going into litigation and time as well. It was not a normal thing. Then I started my individual practice in consultancy, not actually consultancy. Consultancy eventually happened. I have decided to do something individually and explore. So I joined a job, and in 2 months, I will not name all the institutes because of the incidents and the privacy stuff. So I have joined a job with a construction company, and then I have realized okay, I'm getting bored here because of mundane job and everything. I was moreover into research, analysis, drafting, etc. And that was not major part there because they were outsourcing that thing to a senior lawyer outside. So that was not happening inside. And as I was very much new, I had a lot of time there. And I explored their cases and I made points and submitted to. They were so happy with that, and they have stopped eventually giving their cases out. And they asked me to handle it. And then I started with revenue, civil cases, or regarding their properties with this client. And then it has increased actually. So I was having till last year, I was having 4 construction companies and builders with whom I was working as their litigation lawyer and consultant as well.
Okay.
Along with that, was doing, except litigation, I was doing this cooperative consumer because I wanted to taste everything, what works for me. I was looking for my area of interest and comfort zone in a positive sense that I can really make difference or add some value to that. And eventually I have now settled into, like you explained, property, revenue, and family matters, cooperative matters. And I do consultancy in other cases as well.
Wow, that's a lot of different things that have happened. And I believe you also took a break in between for some time.
In USA, it was a break only. When I was in USA, I was studying, I was attending court with some lawyer who are from Indian origin or something. But formally, lawyer from India cannot practice in USA. You have to clear their bar exams and everything. And we didn't have any plan to stay there. So I have not attempted them. But I was attending those bankruptcy cases and other cases with those lawyers. And then eventually I find out mediation there only. Mediation, arbitration, and everything. So active break, I would say 2 years only there was active break, but this India mein jo practice karte as a lawyer, that break was for 6 years when I was in US, but gathered this different experiences there.
So let me take you back to the very beginning when you actually went to college, right? जब हम बोलते हैं कि okay, law degree, right? We say BA LLB, but that's like huge universe in itself, because suddenly you mentioned I was an arts student, and I kind of clicked in my head, right? What exactly is the process, or was in your case the process of getting into the college, deciding on it, and what did you do in those 5 years? It'll be really great to know first from Revati and then from Mahesh that how was that journey, because that's closer to our students' age, because that's where they are. So that'll be good to know.
Actually, public service, I wanted to go. That is why I chose to go to humanitarians and arts faculty, 11, 12, after 10. I was doing that and took the majors which I wanted to choose, minor and major, during my public service exams. I kept them only. And eventually after 10th, I was in merit list of state of Maharashtra at 12th, and then everyone started saying, Ki, Arey, you are in merit list, wish you would have been in science. You would have done much better if you had merit list and all that. But I have decided to go to law. My uncle was a lawyer. He was not a practicing lawyer. He was a law officer of MHADA for entire of his career span. But eventually, actually, it was not very conscious decision, I would say. अभी आप जितना बच्चों को करा रहे हो, you are giving them all that exposure and they are thinking and they have choices and all that. Absolutely, that journey was not mine. It was घर वालों ने सब लोग बोले, you talk good and you analyze good, things are good, why don't you go to law till you get the graduate degree from law, and then you can pursue your public services examination on. So that is how I entered into law, and this next journey happened.
So how do you how are the subjects laid out in law? Matlab, is it like a set path for everybody, or you because it's called BA LLB, right? 5 years. So is
No,
it that the first
Oh, you continue. It is BSL LLB, not BA LLB.
BSL.
BSL, Bachelor of Social Legislation, is the first
Okay.
part, and then LLB. It is BSL LLB.
Okay, so LLB would be same for everybody, but
Yes.
BSL, does it vary from, like, are there choices,
Yes.
subject choices there?
Actually, the art graduate, they learn all the social subjects. Okay.
Okay.
Lawyer has to have, I feel, the background of some subject, because you understand legal provisions in LLB. But the very motive of law, why this law is formed, where an NTC came, what was the pressure to form this law? Every law has a history, every law has a story why it is formed. So this background and this motive and intention and purpose of the law, you definitely understand if you have political science and sociology as a background. No matter, you can acquire that later as well. But it is good actually if you have. I had economics, political science, sociology. So first 5 years course ke first 2 years we learn legal history, political science we have as a subject. So there, whoever has missed it, 11th, 12th law, that has been covered in BSL in 2 years. So you understand the basic, you learn Aristotle, you learn how law form, how their law theory they pushed, and how then it converted into litigation, how process of litigation has happened, how it is happening in different countries in a different time span and different manners. So you understand all that, and that is very interesting actually to see beyond provision. So you understand the very purpose of the provision, and then see what lawyer do is put the facts into law, circumstances into provisions of law, and that is how you narrate it to the for the justice in front of court of law. So if you understand the basis of it, you can very effectively do that, is what I've done. So that is why it helped me in a sense. But anyways, BSL LLB, that help, Bachelor of Social Legislation, is social legislation. You understand the other aspects of law. But but right now, actually, for patent lawyer, IP practices, cyber law, and all that, they have they have this requirement that you have to have science as a background, because these are technical fields. So we cannot say that only having a humanitarian subject or art subject will help you in the law. It is not like that. Journey should flow, I think. You get that anyways.
Okay, so somebody who wants to get into patent law, you're saying that they would have to have sciences till 12th, and then maybe at BSL level also they would be picking up science subjects. Is that so?
BSL, I don't know right now what is that, but science background 11th, 12th is suffice. That is sufficient.
Okay. Interesting. That's very interesting. Mahesh, your inputs on this. How was your 5 years and what kind of got you to do those 5 years?
I'll make it little lighter because a meritorious student has spoken, and that may frighten my friends listening all these things. So according to me, the real LLB is lots of last benches, which
I
I
didn't get
always
you.
had been. We were always lots of last benches. But yes, that is how we learn about society. It's not always that we are listening to the lecture and you learn law. Law is more being a part of a society, understanding, analyzing why the situations are happening, why the things are happening, and what could be the remedy for the things which can be corrected, or where you can help people who may not be able to understand why these things has happened and how these things has happened to him in a social fact.
Mhm.
Though it's not very difficult and only meritorious students needs to do law, I think more people who are successful as a lawyer, they are all normal, who have passed out with a normal kind of percentages. They can be a better lawyer because they analyze more of a society than that of reading of more of a books.
Mhm.
That's all in a lighter way. But the fact is this: it's not a difficult course at all. And in our time, it was, as Revati said, it was parents' choice. I couldn't score 100 on 100 in mathematics. My father told, "You can't be a good engineer. Rather than being a bad engineer, try if you can be a good lawyer." That's how I entered into law, and I studied law. But then nowadays it's not like that. It's a examination called as CLAT, and there
Mhm.
are national law schools which has more competition, rather competition just like JEEE and all that. So it's more focused. In our days, yes, teacher used to come and teach us with a blackboard, standing over there, rather one of the sitting acting Chief Justice of Bombay High Court. I remember, Revati, if you remember well, Justice Gangapurwala, he used to play tennis and come to the class, stand over
Yes,
there, stand over
yes.
there and start teaching us contract act. But the fact is this: you refer to a book, but he will not even miss a full stop or comma. That
Wow.
was the command he had on the law. And we enjoyed. Just, you don't have to open a book, but listen to him. And believe me, today also, many provisions of Contract Act, I am able to remember because I heard him, not because I have
Wow.
read a book of Contract Act. That's
Mhm.
the fact. That is how the law is. You don't have to, do much efforts, in fact, to understand law, to study law. It is a natural thing. It is a natural, it comes out naturally because you tend to understand, analyze society. You tend to analyze how the things are happening. And then once, somebody asked in our class itself, what is a lawyer? Then somebody replied, one who can read law. Now, for reading law, why do I need to waste 5 years to read a law? But
Mhm.
because anybody can open a book and read a book of law. However, it's not like that. When we say read a law, that means you are able to relate various provisions from various acts to a situation.
Mhm.
Apply that law to a given factual circumstances, and then analyze it, so that the person, the judge sitting over there, can understand as to how it can be applied, what actually would have happened, and a proper judgment can be taken about that particular situation or a circumstances that have taken place. uh, that is going a little more serious. So coming to the lighter part of it, it's otherwise an easy course, but yes, it is very useful for the society. uh, and we can be a part of, not only being a lawyer, but one who studies law. Rather, there is a saying in our law that nobody can claim innocence because I don't know law. It is expected that
Yeah.
everybody should know law. It's not an
Mhm.
excuse that I don't know law,
Mhm.
isn't it? So that way, everybody should learn law naturally. It's simple. It's a simple thing. Coming back now, as Revati was saying, the time has changed. IPR things have come in. There are more things like we need to have a scientific base or a mathematical base to understand various situations in this today's scenario. So as Revati was saying, 11th 12th science will be good, but I will say maths will also be important, because end of the day, few people say law is a common sense, but it's not like that. Law is a mathematics. Law is a mathematics, and we need to apply those set of facts to the given law and come to the conclusion. So it's a pure mathematics. So people who are interested in mathematics, they can be a better lawyer. Now, when I look into my present role as a law officer who looks into documentation, when there is a complex documentation where they seek loan for investment in mutual fund or something like that, I need to understand how this investment will have an interplay with whatever loan I'm sanctioning, or who is going to utilize it for what. So scientific base will be necessary, with an aptitude to help society. That is how the role of lawyer would be. Correct me if I'm wrong, Revati.
No, the pictures show us that the role of the lawyer is to earn a lot of money. That's right.
Actually, it is not like that.
So it's good to hear that that you need empathy, and sciences are becoming more important with the way
Yes,
the whole the society is changing, right? The issues are changing. They're becoming more and more computational and uh, technology driven. So a little bit of understanding of that. But what were
yes.
your subjects in 11th 12th, and the focus in BSL, Mahesh?
I was a math science student for 11th 12th. I wanted to do engineering. Condition was 100 and 100 on mathematics, then engineering. No 100 and 100, go for law. So I went in law. Of course, BSL, LLB of social sciences like politics, sociology, economics, all those social sciences kind of subjects. So
So was it a big shift for you, because Revati was already coming from a social sciences background in 11th and 12th, but for you it was maths and sciences. So the shift to the social sciences, was it a big shift?
I don't think so, because social science is a natural thing. It comes to you naturally. You don't have to have that kind of calculative brain which you require in mathematics. That's what probably my father would have thought. Otherwise, he argues well with me, so he'll argue well in court also. So, so it was not a big thing. Rather, those subjects helped me somewhere, because now when I go back, I see the economics which was being taught, or a political science that was being taught. That gave me at least a little bit of insight when I look into the kind of things I deal over here. Because there can be an some economic effect to the things which we look into when we are sanctioning the loan or dealing with the documentation, or there can be a political risk which we need to analyze when we are dealing with such kind of loan, and when we are dealing with the matters like litigation also, as I was telling you. So we need to have all those subjects. It's an interesting journey. Law is, people may say it's a little boring, but once you start it, it's interesting. And be a lots of last benches, then it is more interesting.
Okay, what are some of the top colleges? So you said national law colleges. What are some other colleges, currently you would say are kind of the places to go to if you want to study law?
Actually, National Law School of Bangalore, I think, would be the best nowadays. National Law schools are definitely, they are doing good. And I was being told a few days back, somebody was telling me nowadays they are more into practical kind of thing. They make children analyze the court cases before they enter into the courtroom, which was not that much in our days. We never analyzed those, apart from few compulsory moot court competition and all that, but they Nowadays, they ask children to do presentations by giving them some few set of facts and all that. So they are doing good. I think Pune Symbiosis is also good. I believe then Hyderabad, I think Nalsar University is also good, right, Devti?
Yeah,
Fusion.
even Jindal, I heard in Delhi, Noida, Jindal
Mhm.
school is also people are opting for.
Yeah, our one of our students has also gone there. Na Raghav has gone there only. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
Raghav and there's a senior of Raghav. I'm forgetting her name. She has also gone there. So there are two
Okay.
of our students in different batches. Yeah. Okay. And any other colleges, Revati?
NMI MS is also there, I believe.
Huh,
Nirma University, they also have it.
huh.
Gujarat, also GLC colleges. There are a number of colleges. Nowadays, they are coming. M.P.Law college is good. One of our
Mhm.
batchmate is a professor over there.
Okay.
Definitely, she must be teaching good. Nahi, Revati?
Yeah, she's teaching there.
Hmm.
That was a good question. Definitely, she must be teaching good there.
I
Okay.
didn't hear properly.
No,
Sorry.
no, his
That's
question
good
was
for me. Don't repeat it, Anupama.
Okay. So, Revati, what has been the highlight of your career? Being a lawyer, I mean, not just career, but just being a lawyer. What has been the highlight for you?
Highlight, you mean the particular incidents or case or something like that? Like,
It can be anything, experience or incident or just the I mean the feeling of being a lawyer. I don't know, whatever has
okay, okay,
kept you happy in this space.
okay.
Hook to it.
Actually, it almost happen whenever new work comes to you. It comes with set of challenges, and you have to like deal with that. It regularly comes, but the initial stage when I have started as a job and end up in 2 months, end up being their consultant. That experience was really a highlight because it taught me too much knowledge of law is not only the thing which, uh, because there was no space to a consultant. That firm or that company, they were not having any consultants, in-house lawyer and out-house lawyers. That was the structure, but I was able to make a place for myself. In a way, in 2 months, I resigned from them and I have started their consultant. So that was the learning to me, along with knowledge of law, your interest in the topic, how you analyze things, how you present things, how can you help your client in real sense, how you handle client and how they get your confidence that you can help them in this case. So this was initial period, this understanding and this results of your hard work and actions, that was a highlight, I would say, because that you have to do end up every day. And along with that, if I have to mention big things that I have worked for Kirloskar, their revenue personal matters as well. Also handled celebrity property investments like R. Madhavan, Parinati Chopra, and others I cannot name maybe. And work for their legal firms from Mumbai, like DSK Legal and some others.
Wow, if that's interesting. And for you, Mahesh, what has been the highlight?
I'll tell you in two parts. As a practicing lawyer, it's fantastic thing is you lose a case, fine. Still, you have a better thing. For an appeal, a client comes to you, fresh set of money. That's a practicing lawyer, right? So it's you who are arguing your case. It is the judge who is doing his decision. The judgment is given by the judge, not by you. You have to do your best. Rest is on the judge who has to take a call. So judge can make a mistake. Lawyer never makes a mistake.
Okay, that's a very interesting perspective. Okay.
Okay, to make it lighter. Now, during my experience, second part as a banker, I really feel when I interacted with people like Mukul Rohde or people like topmost lawyers, Abhishek Manu Singhvi or Harish Salve, they are gem of person. They are really intelligent people. No, I can share you. One of the case I went to Supreme Court with the full confidence. I know 100% of that. So I took hardly few papers. And Harish Salve was my counsel. He charges 19 lakhs per hearing. For that
Wow.
hearing, probably he may utter even a single sentence.
Mhm.
He charges 19 lakhs for it. Right. But when I went, I said, I know the case. This 10 papers, enough for me. I'll explain. The day before hearing, the conference started. I started telling him. He started asking me the question. 10 papers were hardly 10%. My
Wow.
knowledge of 100% was hardly 10%.
Mhm.
I accepted. I said, I need to go back. I'll bring the paper. So I went back, called my people. They faxed me. They scanned and sent me the mail. The things went on and went on and went on. 3 hours he spent. And at the end, he said, Mahesh, you don't have a case, which
Oh.
otherwise I was confident I have a winning case.
Mhm.
Then I said, what to do tomorrow in the court? Topmost lawyer is saying you don't have a case.
Mhm.
And they said, okay, I'll try only one thing. And then it's your luck, it's your destiny. If you win the case, fine. Otherwise, you have it. I said, okay, let's try that. He said, I'm going to utter only one sentence.
Mhm.
Now, for uttering this one sentence, you imagine he spent 3 hours. He made my life miserable.
Mhm.
And the next day, when the hearing came in, he literally uttered one sentence.
Mhm.
The other side lawyer kept on arguing for 1.5 hours.
Mhm.
The decision was in my favor.
Wow. Wow.
That is what is the practicing lawyer is.
What was that one sentence?
No, I'll have to describe the entire case to you to make you understand. But that what I mean to say is
Yeah.
this is the interesting part of a practicing lawyer.
Mm.
We do a lot of hard work, though. When we are arguing, people may feel like when you are talking about suits, we
Mm.
feel that it's nothing, but
Mm.
there is a lot of hard work behind.
Yeah.
It's not just a fun over there, because
Mm.
somebody's life is involved into it. In a
Mm.
criminal case, if somebody is sentenced, only that person is put to sentence. While
Mm.
when you are dealing with a property matter, the
Mm.
entire family can get shattered.
Mm.
So there is a lot of responsibility on us. So it requires a lot of hard work. It requires a lot of dedication, determination to fight a case. It's not that simple. So you need to
Mm.
have a lot of work to be done before you take up a case, before you start arguing in the case. And your winning and losing makes a lot of difference to the people, because their life is involved in it. We have to be very serious on that.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing to hear. Uh, so, audience, students, you have any questions, you can ask them now. And Revati and Mahesh, you want to add in anything, please feel free. The court is yours. So that you should be very wary to say to a lawyer because then you might never get your court back. But yeah, Revati, you were saying something.
No, I was listening. I was just adding up a thing that, as Mahesh said, that is very much correct, that law is a common sense. So
Mhm.
why the maxim is there? Ki, excuse, ignorance of law is not an excuse.
Mhm.
The reason of having it is the same thing. So
Mhm.
the awareness of having something in your mind and assuming that there must be some law regarding this
Mhm.
and searching it is the client thing, and making client aware about their rights and especially duties is the
Mhm.
lawyer's thing. So in profession, if they're interested, kids are mainly interested in this profession. And as Mahesh said, definitely there is a hard work. It's a serious responsibility.
Mhm.
There is no coming back out of it, even if he says there is a appeal court always, but it is not easy to go into appeal.
Mhm.
The time wise, finances wise, there are many aspects. It's not easy to go
Mhm.
there. Even High Court, if Pune people have to fight for High Court, they have to go to Mumbai for
Mhm.
every day. It is not easy for something. So it is a serious responsibility when you take the case or when you want to do. So if kids are really interested in that, eventually they will find out the way. We also
Mhm.
were not understand. We don't never had this understanding which we have today.
Mhm.
So definitely, if they're interested in this, and nowadays I feel it's a beautiful thing because in our time, there was no immediate earning.
Mhm.
Long time of juniorship and then working as a junior lawyer. Somebody went into job like Mahesh, they can earn, and as he said, he can learn in an organized manner. But in a practice, there are many procedural things, many clerical things, which are day-to-day part of the practice. So you become comfortable with those delays, those slow-moving systems and things. So you need to learn all those things. But nowadays, because of technology, as you said, the evidences are in technological form. So there is a scope, there are processes to the companies, there are various companies, and IT sector is so growing. That is why their contracts are there. International trade is there. So international trade and international contracts are there. So that is why the scope nowadays is too much more than what we had there that time. So even financially, it is better today, is what I feel.
And see, it's true for every profession, but I want to know from both of you, does the learning ever stop for you? I mean, was it enough to do those 5 years, and after that, it really doesn't require anything or any
Actually,
going?
I believe learning has started after 5 years.
But I was to say the same thing. We started learning after we completed law.
Yes, absolutely. And every day it is, so that is what it is called as practice.
Yeah.
It's a practice every day with the books and things. Absolutely. I mean, it is simple property thing. Usually I purchase property or somebody sold a property. But believe me, the paper come, there is something which you have to twist and turn and understand and put it into legal parlance in every single time. Even the smallest thing you feel outside, it is just a property dealing regular karte rahiye sab, but it is not like that. So learning is continuous. Learning and studying, reading, talking to people, handling client and understanding them. It's a continuous process actually.
Yeah. So it's not all just parties and walking into the room like we see in Suits. There you have to do lot of learning, continuous
No,
learning.
as Mahesh said, in Suits also, they are continuously working under pressure only. But just the thing I was mentioning about suit is the scope of a lawyer and the scope of lawyers' work is shown in the suit is not like that. They go out of it. You go to witnesses' house. You try to get them with you. You train them. You tell them this is not usually is expected from a lawyer to do, or is the lawyers do basically. He is an officer of the court. He's called as an officer of the court. So if he is an officer of the court, there is a responsibility towards the court and towards client as well. So it's always a balance you have to maintain between your profession and other things. So yes, it is not dramatic as shown in the movies, Jolly LLB or Fruits or something, but it is really interesting. One is interested in this part, it is interesting.
You wanted to say something,
I'll
Mahesh?
add only one thing. Money is a byproduct in this profession. Money comes. It flows rather. Now we have experienced it even when I was practicing. It's not about. It's only a right person doing right kind of hard work and presenting the right thing. You are being paid well. The system takes care of it. Nothing to worry.
Wow.
People who feel that it's not a high earning profession or like that, it's not like that. If a person who works hard will definitely earn better in this profession.
And get by just one sentence and get 19L.
Yeah. But that sentence makes a lot of difference, ma'am. And you have to have, he needs to have that courage to say that sentence, because otherwise I have no case.
The confidence and belief in yourself that whatever you are going to say is going to just absolutely turn the table around.
Yeah.
It's very risky, in fact. Yeah.
That's what it requires. Lot of hard work, ma'am. It requires a lot of hard work. To that sentence, he has spent 3 hours. To that sentence, whatever case I was knowing, I was thorough in it, 100%. He showed to me, I was 10%. The kind of amount of papers he went back through it, the kind of things which he read, it was fantastic. The other person who was arguing was also a senior advocate. He was not a simple person. He
I
argued for
think it,
1.5
yeah.
hours.
Well, I
But
think it's
then,
a great combination of experience and I
yes,
think critical thinking, very critical,
yes, yes.
especially in case of legal field. I think that must play a huge role.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Now I heard that CAT, the exam, entrance exam, they have legal reasoning,
Okay.
legal analytical. I don't know what kind of question paper is. I never seen that, but I heard, as Mona said, legal, critical thinking, and all
It
that.
is, the question papers
Legal
are available on the
in legal sense.
website.
In
In
legal
fact,
sense, yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
past papers. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Any questions from the audience? Anything you want to know, or did we cover everything that you would have wanted to know? Mona, Ajay, do you have any question? Anything you
So
want to
yeah,
ask
just
them?
to maybe help summarize some of these things, wonderful session. Thank you so much, Revati and Mahesh and Anupam for the right questions. So say like now kids have to appear for CLAT. I know there are many CLAT preparation centers now where, in fact, a
Yes.
younger daughter को भूत चढ़ गया था एक बार CLAT करने का. So we went out, got admission into some place also, got all the books and everything. And after she went there, like I think it must be like for 1 month she went there and she just dropped the idea because she thought it was too conventional, the kind of learning that had to be done, the memorization and all of that. I think kids sometimes can get deterred by something like that. But I think when I look back and I think about some of the stuff that kids feel that is unnecessary, like, memorizing some things and all, but memorizing things is also a skill. And in case of a lawyer, you really need that skill because you need to really remember a great deal of stuff. And that's a way to expand the brain. I mean, I'm not saying that that method is the right method or not for training the kids, but I feel also rote learning has a role in education because it helps us to remember things. I know, like when we were growing up, I would remember all the phone numbers like just like that. Somebody had to just tell me a name, and I would just go and tell the phone number. But now, I mean, now I've gotten you out of that habit. But what I'm saying is, the brain can be trained to do a lot of things. Uh,
Yes.
so
Not
yours,
only that, not only that, well, remembering law is there, na?
yeah.
So you are not creating things, you have to learn and understand. That is
Totally,
also a part,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So it's a 5-year thing, right? It's a 5-year plan to become a
It's 3 year
lawyer.
also. It's 3 year also. After graduation, any science or art graduation, there is just LLB course.
Yeah.
After 12, there is BSL LLB course. So there are 2 courses for law.
So they have to give CLAT only if they're joining the LLB right after 12th. Otherwise, they don't have to give CLAT, is it?
Oh, really? No,
No,
I
I
have no
wasn't
idea.
sure of this. Yeah.
Okay.
I
I don't.
think CLAT is for 5 years course as well as for 3 years course.
Okay. Okay.
Because that is basically for the admission to national law school.
National
Hmm.
schools.
National law school,
Correct.
basically they started for that, and national law school are offering 5 years course as well as 3 years course. But
Narsi
more,
Munji is a national school, right? National college.
no, Narsi Monji is not a national law school. It's a private school, and this also Jindal also is a private law school.
Private
They are
Yes.
charging quite high nowadays. I don't know for what,
9
but I've
lakhs.
heard per year 9 lakhs. I studied hardly in thousands for the entire course.
And the law college in Pune.
Yeah, Symbiosis is also 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs. I've heard they are charging.
Great.
I think we're close for today. Thank you so much, Revati, and thank you so much, Mahesh, for coming today on such a short notice and sharing all this wonderful stuff with us and our students. And we hope maybe some other time we can again call you back and some of your other friends also, Revati. So you have,
Sure.
yeah, and thank you for the light side of things also, Mahesh. That was a lot of fun. So thank you so much for your time, and yeah, we look forward to maybe interacting with you again sometime in future.
The
Thank
best
you,
part
Anupam.
was the
Thank you.
practice word that Revati used, like then we practice and best. Thank you. Wonderful session. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Yeah, take care.
Thank you, Mahesh.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll just end the meeting now.